So here we are, and we're going to take it a little further now that you're getting comfortable with the pen tool and drawing fashion flats. And we're going to continue to work with the reflect tool, using a flat template, the shape builder tool, pen tool. But now we're going to take it a little further, and we're still going to be working on shirts, but this time we're going to be working on button down, plackets, buttons, aligning buttons, collars, different collar shapes, all those great things. So the first thing we need to do is, just like with the t-shirt, I'm going to go to File and I'm going to Place. And I'm going to find the template that I like to use. And yes, I know my desktop is kind of a wreck a little bit, but I know where things are, right? Organized chaos. So here we go. And it's this Untitled PDF. And the reason I like this one, it is simple. It works well for me in terms of shirts. And the green and the violet really help in terms of, the line work and all of that. So what I'm going to do next is, don't forget this step, is I'm going to check template. So make sure template is checked, link is not. Sometimes it'll default to that. And then after you've done that, just hit place. And the beauty of this is, if you go over here to your layers palette, you'll see that it automatically sets a template up for you. It locks it for you because everyone I know at some point has been guilty of drawing on top of it. This will stop that from happening, and it goes ahead and it sets up a layer for you. So we have this layer, and if you go and unlock this template just to see what you can do, if you double click, you'll see that it also dims the image down to 50%. So if you'd like to change that to something else, 45 or 55, or whatever your sweet spot is, your comfort zone, then certainly feel free. So do that. I'm going to lock it back and go back to my layer, and they're ready to start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the collar. So going with the collar, I'm going to zoom in, and the first thing I need to do is think about the collar stand. And in drawing the collar stand, it's very important that it's centered. So in terms of getting it centered, the best thing to do is just grab the rectangle tool. I'm going to do that and come over here. So instead of starting here and just drawing, and the computer will tell me, I can see that it's centered. But another way of doing this is grabbing the rectangle tool, coming over, and if you hold the Alt button, you can start on the center line and draw out and begin your collar stand. So don't worry so much where it is now. You can come in once you've drawn it, kind of scoot it up, tweak it where you want, something like that. So I'm okay with that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It certainly can be moved around, So here we go. We have this. So the next thing we do, next step, is grab your pen tool, shortcut, just hit P, boom, right there. So now what I'm going to do is draw from that center front line on my template, and I'm going to click, come up to the corner here, down to the shoulder. It will rest on the shoulder, don't forget that. And then it can be a simple collar, it can be a fun flared collar. Let's kind of go somewhere in between. How about that? We'll go down here and close it off. So, and you'll see when you see the 0 or the circle by the pen tool, that's what I've done. So I've just closed this off, select it, click out and release so you can see it. Now what I'm going to do is grab this, and why would I want to draw that twice? I'm not. So I'm going to go over here, and we've already talked about the reflect tool, and its shortcut, as you can see, is the letter O. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to hit O. This is going to happen. The icon for reflect is here, so I'm just going to grab the Alt key, hit the center line, and vertical is what you want, and do not hit OK. Hit copy, and there you have it. So we've got this, and now at this point I'm going to go up and double check to see, and it's not. Okay, so I need to fix this. What I'm going to do is round my caps and round my corners, because if you've ever done a drawing, or if you will in the future, and you start seeing these, it looks like pieces of shard or these hard angles shoot off and out of your drawing's illustration, it's because you haven't rounded the corner or the caps, and garments are soft. So keeping that in mind, make certain that you go into your stroke panel and take care of that and just round them off. And stroke panel can also be found over here, whichever way you are comfortable, you do it. So what we're going to do now is, yeah, this looks like a collar. Okay, most people would be, okay, I'm done, let's move on, but not quite yet. There needs to be a little bit more detail to this so that we can make it somewhat more believable. A collar roll is what I'm referring to right now, things along those lines. So, I mean, always in the past, you know, Pathfinder was used, Pathfinder Unite, direct selection, play around, you know, tweak some things, and it was a wonderful way to get a collar. But I have fallen in love with the Shape Builder tool, and for me personally, it's what I use to do this. It's a little faster for me. I feel it's more efficient for me. So here's what I do. So instead of uniting with Pathfinder and coming back in and then copying the collar stand and pasting it and all of that, I've got this basic shape. So now what I'm going to do is take the pen tool, and then I'm going to zoom in because, you know, I can. I'm going to click here where I want the collar roll, and then I'm going to come over here, and the computer is telling me it's straight and it's intersecting. I believe it, so I'm happy. So I'm going to click this and then select, click away and release so you can see what's happening right here. So now that I have this, here comes this wonderful tool. Like I said, I have just fallen in love with it. It's the Shape Builder tool. Shift M is the shortcut, so here it is. I'm going to come over and hit Shift M and show you. So you can click, and if you click and hold and drag into the next section, it'll unite sections for you. So you're doing this, and I'll do it slow so you can see, and then I'll come back over here, and you can see how it would actually create that collar roll. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I want to make certain that all of these are closed objects. So this is an object, I can see that it is. I'm going to click on this and make certain that that's its own object. And so I have this space in here, and so I can even hover in here and click, and now it becomes its own object. So I'm going to hit my selection tool, and in the past you could make a box, you know, fill it with gray to, you know, reflect the wrong side of the fabric and send it to the back. But all we have to do now is that it's its own closed object. I come up here, grab it gray, and there you have it. You can either right click, or on a Mac you can hold Control, click, and you can group, and now you have a grouped collar just like that, that now you can use in the future. You know, I would suggest that you have our art boards full of different collars ready to go as you draw them. You know, save them as such. But now what we're going to do is we will continue on with the rest of the shirt.